Hey, welcome to Cannonball, explosive talk on the saints, with me, Brad Farmer of Apex Ministries. This podcast is about the mysteries and personalities of the saints of the Catholic Church. Not only do we want to study the incredible true life histories of the saints' lives, we want to consider how we can collaborate together to build the kingdom of Jesus Christ. Here in this episode, I explore the St. Benedict medal and the prayers that are inscribed on it. The St. Benedict medal is a sacramental, and just to be clear, here is what the Catechism of the Catholic Church has to say about sacramentals. In paragraphs 1667 and following, it says that these are sacred signs which bear a resemblance to the sacraments. They signify effects particularly of a spiritual nature which are attained through the intercession of the Church. By them, men are disposed to receive the chief effect of the sacraments, and various occasions in life are rendered holy. So that's what a sacramental is. It's an extension of the liturgy of the Church. The St. Benedict medal is a pretty cool one, as you'll find out in this episode. I love the St. Benedict medal. I've been fascinated about it since I first learned of it. And what really captured me was the prayer. Around the edges on the back of the medal are a bunch of letters, and the letters are the first letter of a word in Latin. And when I looked into it and what it meant, I just thought, this is awesome. I got to learn this. And not only did I want to learn it because of what the prayer was, just hearing it in Latin too, it just sounded really cool. And it is a powerful prayer. It's become a regular part of my own prayer life. There's a simple symbolism, something that looks cool, simple design, and just at a glance, it brings to mind this whole depth of thought. And that's what a good sacramental does. You know, that's what a good holy image does. It brings to mind a lot more than just the aesthetic quality. It brings to mind everything that you've learned about it. Every sacramental is a sign or a reminder. It's something that's meant to bring us to worship, bring about reverence. Some examples would be things like holy oil, blessed water. The candles that you see at Mass are blessed. They're sacramentals. Blessed palms, like on Palm Sunday, the ashes you get on Ash Wednesday, a cross necklace, if it's blessed, blessed salt, holy cards, Christian art, crucifix, scapular, St. Benedict medal, miraculous medal, a rosary, divine mercy bracelet. All these things are signs that point to a deeper devotion, are signs that point us to some deeper meaning that helps lead us into prayer. I hope you don't mind all the extra introductory stuff before I get to the good stuff, but I think this is important to know where our information comes from, to understand how it's been handed down, and to verify that there's something authentic behind what we're getting at. And a lot of times that's not as important as the intention, especially in something like a prayer, that really, if you understand the meaning of the words and what your intention in prayer is, that's really what's most important. But sometimes the history is fascinating, and it connects us to a deep, rich history and a long connection with something that's really cool, especially when we are battling against disembodied supernatural forces such as demons. I know that sounds kind of weird, but they've been around for a long time. They don't die a physical death like we do, and they've been experiencing the effects of the Church for 2,000 years. That's pretty significant, and that's something I want to have on my side. So where do I get this information from? Most of the information that we know about St. Benedict comes to us from Pope Gregory the Great, all the way back in the 6th century. And you got to understand that when Gregory the Great was writing, he wasn't doing a chronological, historical bibliography the way that we understand them today, but he was trying to give some striking examples of miracles of notable Italian holy men to inspire people in their faith. I'm not going to go deep into the information of St. Benedict's life, but Gregory the Great is a source of who he was and his miracles and his devotion to the cross in particular. As far as a medal goes, we have a manuscript dating back to 1415 that was found in Bavaria that gives an explanation of the letters on the Benedict medal. The letters are of a Latin prayer of exorcism against Satan, as will be explained later. And 1880, when under the supervision of the monks of Monte Cassino in Italy, to mark the 1400th anniversary of the birth of St. Benedict, designed the medal that we're most familiar with today. And that's why on that particular medal you see 1880. Of course, you can find it on Wikipedia, a quick search of St. Benedict, but also the Order of St. Benedict. The order that Benedict founded has been the proprietors and people who kept this information correct for many years, hundreds of years. Some of my information I've gotten from Our Sorrowful Mothers Ministry, osmm.org, and I came across them through their work with an exorcist, Father Chad Ripperger, who is, interestingly enough, someone that I knew of as a little kid. I remember him as a kid when I was growing up because we're both from Casper, Wyoming, and my mom used to babysit him. And all of that is a long story for another time. But I do appreciate the work that he has been doing lately in helping people to understand the realities of the spiritual world and to help develop a life of prayer. And so some of my information has come from those sources about St. Benedict and the St. Benedict medal. So while I wish I was cool enough to come up with something like this, it's really something that's ancient, that's hundreds of years old, and it goes back to a Latin prayer of exorcism that is just really cool. That's become a regular part of my life. And a really cool design that was made by the Benedictines. So thank you, Benedictines, for that. Here's just a couple of the things that are purported about the medal. I don't know if all of this is true. I haven't had direct experience with all of this, but I do trust the sources, and some of my experience with the medal would lead me to find that this is reasonable. That the St. Benedict medal is a means to destroy witchcraft and other diabolical influences, to keep away the spells of magicians, wicked and evil-minded persons, to impart the protection of persons tempted, deluded, or tormented by evil spirits, to obtain the conversion of sinners, especially when they are in danger of death, to serve as an armor in temptations against holy purity, to destroy the effects of poison, to secure a timely and healthy birth for children, to afford protection against storms and lightning, to serve as an efficacious remedy for bodily afflictions and means of protection against contagious diseases. That would be kind of good for today. And has often been used with admirable effect even for animals infected with plague and other maladies, and for fields when invaded by harmful insects. A lot of times the medal is worn on a chain around the neck. It can be attached to a rosary, kept in your pocket or your purse. You can put it in your car, in your home. Sometimes people put it in the foundation of houses or buildings, in walls of barns and sheds, or a place of business. But the purpose, like any sacramental, is to remind us of God. It's not like this is a special magical spell that we're placing on this place. It's something that's meant to remind us. And maybe you can't see it in the foundation of a building, but you know that it's there. And you remember that this prayer is intentionally put into the foundation of this. I think that's kind of cool. And intention is what's really important about all of this. And for me, just to have it in my pocket or to be able to see it on my wall, again, reminds me of so much. Just all of what the prayer means. It reminds me of the life of Benedict. It reminds me to be a better person. Just at a glance is such a good thing for building my own spiritual life. There is a special blessing that's given for a Benedict medal that you can find on osb.org and several other places. Kind of a prayer of exorcism that's prayed over the medal. So here's the story for the face of the medal. There's the image of Saint Benedict, and in his right hand he holds the cross. That's the symbol of salvation. Benedict was connected with the cross. He always meditated on the cross. He always preached Christ crucified, as did St. Paul. And then in his other hand, he is holding the rule for monasteries, the rule of St. Benedict. On a pedestal on the right of St. Benedict, there is a cup. It's a poison cup. There's a story about the monks that gathered around him that were like, "Oh, teach us how to be holy. Teach us what we want, how you do what you do." They thought he was too strict, and so they tried to poison him. Apparently, he made the sign of the cross over, and it shattered. That's the story. That comes to us from Pope Gregory the Great's story about him. And then on the pedestal to the left of him is a loaf of poisoned bread that someone sent to try and kill St. Benedict, and the raven carried away the poisoned bread. So both of these are ways that St. Benedict avoided poison, according to certain stories in the telling of his biography by Pope Gregory the Great. So above the cup and the raven are the Latin words Crux Sancti Patris Benedicti, the cross of our Holy Father Benedict. And then on the margin of the medal, encircling St. Benedict, are the Latin words Eius in obitu nostro praesentia muniamur. I'm not as familiar with this prayer, so it's a little slower when I say it. But basically the translation is, may we be strengthened by his presence in the hour of our death. St. Benedict, he had a happy death, that when he died in the chapel at Monte Cassino, he had his monks come out and help him stand up, and he raised his arms up, and while he was praying, he was able to receive viaticum, receive Holy Communion, and he died with his hands stretched out in prayer. And so a peaceful, holy death. Similar to St. Joseph, St. Benedict is a patron of a peaceful death. So may we be strengthened by his presence in the hour of our death. All right, so here we go. Here's the good stuff. If you really want to learn this, I recommend putting the visual in a place where you'll see it, and it'll trigger your mind. And put a printout of the prayers and what the letters stand for, and that'll help you remember. I learned the prayers, what they mean in English first, and I thought that was just a really cool prayer, and that's why I wanted to keep a St. Benedict medal around. But it's not that hard to learn it in Latin, and I think anybody could do it. And so if you want to give it a go, here's what it means. And I'll have a link to an animation that I made, as well as a document that I made that, as far as I know, there's no copyright on this. I drew the picture myself based on the medal, and so you have my permission to use it. The other goes back to the 1400s, so it's probably public domain by now. Here's what it is. At the top, it says Pax. In Latin, that means peace. Around the cross, there are circles with the letters C, S, P, B. That stands for Crux Sancti Patris Benedicti, the cross of our Holy Father Benedict. And here's the prayer. There are two different prayers. There's one on the cross and then one around the edges. The one that's on the cross, I've even taught my kids when we say the meal prayer, the bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts. We say this sometimes in Latin, sometimes in English at the end of every meal prayer. And it's just become a regular part of my regular prayer, a regular part of my everyday prayer. On the vertical beam of the cross, it says CSSML, which stands for Crux Sacra Sit Mihi Lux, or the English translation, May the Holy Cross be my light. And then on the horizontal beam of the cross, it has NDSMD, which stands for Nunquam Draco Sit Mihi Dux. Some older versions have Non Draco Sit Mihi Dux. Either one is perfectly fine. What it means is, may the dragon never be my guide, or don't let the dragon be my guide. The non is don't. The nunquam is never. So here's some ways that I kind of use to remember this. May the Holy Cross be my light. May the dragon never be my guide. That's just a beautiful prayer. That's a cool intention. I would repeat that over and over in my mind. May the Holy Cross be my light. May the dragon never be my guide. But if you want to use the Benedict medal and look at it, what the words mean from English to Latin, crux, that's cross, the crux of the matter, the crux sacra, sacred, the Holy Cross, seat, it is, mihi, mine, lux, light. So you put that all together, crux sacra, Holy Cross, seat is mihi lux, my light. May the Holy Cross be my light. Crux sacra sit mihi lux. Crux sacra sit mihi lux. And then you have nunquam draco sit mihi dux. Nunquam, that's like no time. Draco, the dragon. Seat, again, same S, it is. Mihi, same thing, mine. Dux, guide. Nunquam Draco, never the dragon, sit mihi dux, is my guide. Nunquam Draco sit mihi dux. May the dragon never be my guide. So there you have it. Crux sacra sit mihi lux, nunquam Draco sit mihi dux. May the Holy Cross be my light. May the dragon never be my guide. And then next we have the prayer that goes around the perimeter, the circle around the cross. And so you see the letters V, R, S, N, S, M, V on one side, and then S, M, Q, L, I, V, B on the other side. We'll dive into what each of that means. Vade retro Satana. Nunquam suade mihi vana, sunt mala que libas, ipse venena bibas. Translation: get behind me, Satan, or get out of here, Satan. Never tempt me with your vanities. What you offer me is evil. Drink the poison yourself. I love that prayer. That's a powerful prayer. So on the cross you have, may the Holy Cross be my light. May the dragon never be my guide. And around it you have, get out of here, Satan. Never tempt me with your vanities. What you offer me is evil. Drink the poison yourself. That's powerful stuff. That's good stuff. I love that. So vade retro Satana. We've heard that before in the Gospel of John. Jesus says that to Peter. Get behind me, adversary, is what it means. He says that to Peter when Peter says, I'm not going to let you go through the passion. And he's like, you're an adversary, you're a stumbling block, you're something that's preventing me. I don't need that in front of me. Get behind me. Get out of here. So we say that directly to the person of the devil, to call him by name, not just as an adversary, but Satan. Vade retro Satana. Get behind me, Satan. And then Nunquam, we heard that in the prayer with May the Dragon Never Be My Guide. That's the never. Nunquam, no time. Suwade, mihi vana. Never offer me your vanities, or never tempt me with your vanities. Sunt mala que libas. What you offer me is evil. Ipse venena bibas. Drink the poison yourself. Sunt mala que libas. Ipse venena bibas. I love the way that it even rhymes when you put it together. Crux sacra sit mihi lux, nunquam draco sit mihi dux. Great rhyme right there. Vade retro Satana, nunquam suade mihi vana, sunt mala que libas, ipse venena bibas. So once you get the hang of it, once you get the flow of it, there's kind of a little rhyme there, and it's easier to remember the prayer. But ancient prayer of exorcism that's been used for hundreds of years, and I just like the feel of it. May the Holy Cross be my light. May the dragon never be my guide. Get out of here, Satan. Never tempt me with your vanities. What you offer me is evil. Drink the poison yourself. Crux sacra sit mihi lux, nunquam draco sit mihi dux. Vade retro Satana, nunquam suade mihi vana. Sunt mala que libas, ipse venena bibas. I always like to say prayers like this, like the St. Michael prayer or the St. Benedict Medal prayer, standing up, and sometimes even in a fighting pose, because it feels like a fighting prayer. I want to do something physical. I want to beat down the evil that's trying to come up against me. Please tell a friend about this podcast. The best way to build an audience is by word of mouth, but we also want you to engage in your own conversations. We thank our patrons for this project for financial support. When in-person events are sparse, my children still like to eat. Please visit cannonballpodcast.com and click on the red Become a Patron button to support this and hopefully other forthcoming projects. Finally, please pray for us. Put your favorite intercessors on the job. Let us work together to build the kingdom of God. Viva Cristo Rey. Long live Christ the King.